Alright guys, welcome back to round 18's review for Supercoach 2023. Actually on the wrong screen here. But yeah, as you can see, 0 trades. I did make trades last week. 24-19 final score. Honestly, I thought it would be a bit higher than top 3%. Did see a couple of low ones. Low scores from higher up people. But I guess when Gorn has 215... English 170. It's some scores are going to be overinflated a little bit. Not a bad round, up to 2,500. Hoping to break top 2,000, but we'll see if that happens. It's probably only backwards from here, to be honest with you. But yeah. So going into the team, the trades last week were kind of unnecessary, to be honest with you, but I did go Tom Green out since he's done the hammy, and I think it's a 3 to 4 week hammy. Maybe it's more. I can't remember off the top of my head what I've read, but it's a couple of weeks. So he's pretty much done for the Supercoach season. Whether GWS make finals or not, he'll probably come back for them. But yeah, for Supercoach, it's pretty much done. It is a must trade. Went to Mills for him, and then Cheezel, I played around a little bit, and originally I did not want Butters. So I did end up going Butters, but I didn't want him. I wanted a proper midfielder, but at the time, Marek wasn't playing. And if Marek wasn't playing, then I'd had a donut here because of Dunkley. I couldn't get Keys into the forward line properly without moving Dunkley down and everything like that to get Matthew Johnson's score. In all, I think I didn't need to do the Mills trade. Or I could have gone Tom Green out to anyone and then not made the second trade. I would have kept one in the bank, which would have helped this week. Yeah, before we go into it, really would help this week. But yeah, going into it, Dacos was really good. His Brownlow's locked up, let's be honest. He's best player in the AFL this year, and it's not by a short margin. He's up here, and then the rest is just down here. It's not even close. Stewart, a bit down. Expected a bit more, but yeah, it is what it is. He's put up some big scores this year. I think this is either his best or his second best Supercoach year. Dawson was pretty good. Laird did end up higher than him, but for a minute it did look like Dawson was going to go off because Laird had came off with a shoulder injury. Bailey Dale, this is a fraud of a trade. Thought I was doing something super smart here, but now that Ed Richards is back, Ed Richards is playing the role you wanted Bailey Dale to play. So yeah, all this for a 121. I don't know if I got that 116, but yeah, I think I traded him in versus Port. I've got a bit of a cold, so yeah. Not a great score. And then 50s. I mean, the run home's not bad. They got Marvel, 3 games at Marvel, including one versus West Coast, so that should help. But not great. In hindsight, I wouldn't do this trade. I'd go someone else, but I'd like to see who was available that week, which I might have a look at, because this is a terrible trade. So was, I guess Himmelberg wasn't great either. Himmelberg hasn't been good. Will Day was really good though. He kind of looks like he's finally started to find his niche in the Hawthorn midfield. We'll wait and see how this role develops. So Hawthorn still aren't a really good team. I wouldn't even put them at good. So they will have to move a couple of things around. I don't know if that moving involves Day leaving the midfield and bringing in, say, Dylan Moore, something like that, who can kind of, I guess, play like a Toby Green type of role. He's a forward, but can come in for come into the midfield when the game matters. So yeah, we'll see how it goes with Day next year. I don't think I'd ever pick him again. unless he's like on a super hot streak. But yeah, he's done all right this year. 96 average. I think when I brought him in, I was hoping for a 90 average, so he's done the job. Originally, he wasn't a keeper, so he's turned into one. Himmelberg, yeah, I mean, this guy just can't kick an accurate kick. And now there's so many forwards kind of going down for GWS. It's going to hit the point where they have to play him forward. Like, they just have to. Yeah, this is another one. Like, the stretch just hasn't been good. I think I brought him in here after the North game, and it just hasn't been good ever since. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The thought process behind Himmelberg was fine. He's playing back. Previously, when he's played as a back and he's had kick in like priority, he's been really good, but just hasn't happened this year. The accuracy is just not there. Shouldn't got to play. That's all I want. Dunkley was out. Should be back this week. I think this week was more precautionary than like injury, so should be back this week. Wait and see on that one. If he's not, then I'll just field Johnson for another week. It's not too big a deal. Bont was really good. I thought his score was kind of a little low because he was dominating the while the Dogs were up in that game, which wasn't that long, but I guess no, they were up a fair bit against Sydney, but yeah, it looked like Bont was doing heaps, but I guess English just took all the points in that one. Merritt, I mean, he was like double tagged, so it was like the old last year Geelong double tag. You had to avoid it, so yeah, just a bad week for Merritt. Considering it was 200th as well, I reckon they put extra pressure into him, which I don't know. Come on, man, just it's a guy's 200th. Neil was really poor for a while. He was in the 20s for like a large portion of the game, which is so unlike him. But you know, this Brisbane thing, they can't play at the MCG. Like they can. They played good this week. They played brilliantly until they gave up a 20-point lead with 7 minutes left. Like, yeah, I don't know what's up there because they weren't bad. And I feel like that's not the first time I've said that about them. Like, they play good football. It's just, I don't know if it's like they struggle to defend the ground. Like, their defense is too kind of narrow. And the MCG's a wider ground than the Gabba, so they can't, like, get around it. I don't know. But yeah, he was poor this week. Surprised he even got out at 75. I'm going to go get a drink of water because my throat is killing me. Alright, okay, we're back. We'll see how long this one goes. Might be taking a couple of breaks. Petrarca, I think, is who I was up to. He was good. I mean, the 4 goals really helped. He's playing more forward now, which he's getting a lot of praise for. Because I think he's actually a very, very good forward. But for Supercoach, I would much prefer him as a midfielder. He's kind of got that ball magnet in him. So when he's outside the midfield, it's a bit hard to get in the ball. Let's just say that. Laird kind of touched on it before, but he did go off with an shoulder injury. I think it was the AC joint. Haven't heard too much on it since, so I don't know. He could. Who they got this week? Melbourne at the MCG. That's a huge game for Adelaide. Like if they lose that, I think they're out of the finals. I don't think they can make it back in. Even with like, I'm guessing they've still got a ton of games at Adelaide. Huh? Losing GWS at Adelaide. Yeah. Showdown. Which could they rest him versus Melbourne? Then get like a closer to 100% Laird versus Port in the showdown. Pray for a win against Gold Coast. You'd have to win this one. You'd have to win at the Gabba, which Brisbane have looked very good at the Gabba this year. So we'll see. I hope they don't rest him. That would be so interesting if they rest him, because then they'd basically be saying, we don't care that much about finals, we just want to beat Port in the showdown. Yeah, we'll see, mate. I hope he's not rested or out for this week. Like, if he's out this week and I haven't heard anything, and today's Tuesday, I think it would be a rest. Even if they call it injury stuff. I think it's more of a rest. But yeah, Brayshaw was okay, but Freo just terrible. And I think he scores better in Freo wins, doesn't he? Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, I mean, they had to have won that. I can't remember that far back, but I'm pretty sure they've won that. Yeah, I think he's better in their wins, and then Luke Ryan is way like 100, almost 100 points better in losses than he is in wins. So, that shows how bad Freo's game plan is. But yeah, Brayshaw is probably another one. Next year, he's really going to have to show me something for me to pick him. I think next year's midfield is kind of locked up into Bont, Merritt, Petrarca, Oliver. I guess Dunkley as well. Dunkley will be just a midfielder next year. So you kind of got that locked up. Dacos as well. So what next year would be Dacos, Bont, Merritt, Oliver, Petrarca, Dunkley. Like, not in order, but, kind of. Dawson. And then we'll leave one more. I guess that would be like the midfield you want. And I don't know, maybe one of the Port boys. Mills was bad. Very bad. Looked so slow. Which I didn't see against Richmond. Against Richmond, I thought he actually kind of looked up to speed. But yeah, this week, just so slow. He was like 2 steps behind the play every centre bounce and everything. So I wasn't a fan of his game. Matthew Johnson, I mean, again, he's fine. Like, he's a solid player. I don't know what his future prospects are at Freo, since like their midfield is kind of set on Sarong, Brayshaw, Darcy, Jackson. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I think they should probably look at trading one of them. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what his prospects are like. Maybe he goes to, just drive down the road, go to West Coast. You'd probably get a starting gig there. I mean, if he went to like a West Coast, it'd probably be an interesting pick. But yeah, we'll see. Ruck line, one was excellent, terrific, amazing, controlled the game and dominated. The other one was terrible. So this was probably Marshall's worst game I've seen since like his rookie year or something like that. Like, this is terrible. I mean, yeah, he's put up a couple of stinkers, but that's when he was playing like exclusively forward. Yeah, I mean, as a ruckman, you should never score really under 70. Like, to be honest, the amount of free points that they give out just for winning ruck contests, you should be at a 70. Like, yeah, that really should be. Yeah, just terrible from him. But English, like I said, just amazing, terrific. Was like an extra midfielder out there for him. Just, they couldn't pull it out because Horse is just a better coach than Beveridge. It's just the way it is. Goulden was good. He kind of played all around the ground. I saw him at halfback a couple of times. Then he went up into the midfield. Saw him pushing like along a wing and everything. So yeah, he's one to watch. 110 average. I think I had him pegged at like 105 this year. So he did kind of exceed expectations. Yeah, pretty good from him. And then the Rosie Butters thing, only one of them can score. But this was such an anomaly game. How did this happen? That is the definition of anomaly. Carlton, 9 out of 10 times Port should win that. That was like the 1 out of 10. 1 out of 20 that Carlton win that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with these two. I think Butters was kind of a fault to trade in. It's just there was no one else. If I knew Marek was playing, I would have just taken his score and kind of sacked it for the week, and gotten in a better midfielder. But because I was looking at guys like Parrish, how did Parrish go this week? It was Parrish, Noah Anderson, and there was one more. Nick Martin, was it? I think so. 92, I mean, better than both of them. And then Nick Martin, who, I mean, he's playing more forward now. Yeah, I don't think I would have went him. It was just, he had a high average, so obviously you have to look. Noah Anderson, how did he go? 89, I guess all of them, except Martin, beat them out. So, well, Not a great trade, but Butters could still come good. He's still got the showdown game, which he'll probably pop off in. And then Cogs and Keys just weren't that great this week. I thought Cogs would have been a bit better, but just couldn't translate it into a score, which has kind of been happening for him. Yeah, 20 touches. I guess he really needs like a goal or two to really help that score. And then Keys, I think he was back in the midfield this week. I haven't had a look yet, but I think he was back in the midfield. 17 touches. I guess that's a bit low. He might have been forward. A goal. He's looking at his stats, like just off here. He's a very good player this year. I'm not saying all Australian or anything like that, but he's a very good player. Like 29 touches, 2 goals. Yeah, what's that? 25 touches, 2 goals. He's a good player, man. He's pretty good. He's developed a lot since Brisbane. And then Marek, he played, but yeah, I wish they'd just name him on field. They've dropped him 2 weeks in a row. Or is it 3 weeks? Might be 3 weeks in a row where he's ended up playing. So surely that gets investigated for like incorrect usage of a team sheet. Yeah, just play the guy. But yeah, that's about it for this week. There's obviously no trades I can do. Vice captain, captain. What games have we got? I think I liked Friday night. I think I might go. Might go Merritt. I guess it's hard to not go Bont. Bont's averaging 128. I wonder what Bont's average is at Marvel. That would be cool to see. Yeah, I mean, it's not actually that great at Marvel. Of these, I mean, the only captain's score I'd take is I'd maybe take a 124. Of course, you take a 169, but like, I wouldn't take a 113. I wouldn't take a 114. Yeah, I guess he's not that great at Marvel. How's it? Merritt's track record at Marvel? 14, 11, 60. It's MCG 37. I don't know. Maybe this is a trap game. Maybe you're not meant to go anyone in this game. Maybe Richmond, MCG versus Hawthorn in a game Richmond has to win to make top 8. Maybe Taranto's the play there. I wouldn't go anyone in this game. Like, maybe if you got Curnow, but why would you have Curnow? Maybe Chera if you've got him, but again, like, I don't think you should have Chera. Even like his average is really good, but I think you would have had to get him in at like 530k or something like that. I would never overpay for that guy. Brisbane, Geelong, not touching anyone because this just screams double tag. Like, put Atkins on one and O'Connor on the other. Optus, I mean, maybe Goulden. Goulden's in a good run of form. Port Collingwood, I mean, big game Dacos is a thing. Dacos does show up for big games, which kind of is what makes him so fun to watch. Yeah, maybe big game Dacos is the captain. But then this one also looks really intriguing. Oh, there's a lot of good games this weekend. I think I might go Dacos, and then Bont. I don't really know. We'll leave it like that. Maybe I could even just go Dacos like into Laird if he plays, or Dacos into Dawson. Oh, that would be interesting. What am I doing? Just check on him. Alright, we'll go with that for now. Probably going to mess around with it a fair bit. Let me know how your weeks have gone, how many trades you've got left, if there's any. But yeah, I'll see you all next week. Tasty out.